Now in today's video, we're going to look at one of the most valuable things that you can learn on the course, and that's to become aware of where you're breathing from. Breath is movement, and movement leaves traces in the body. So by paying attention to where you feel the breath the most strongly, you can start to map not just the mechanics that are at play, but actually get greater detail on your state of being, how you're responding to the experience of the world around you and inside of you. Now here's a way in which we can test this. You can do it sat up if you're already in a nice supported position, or if you prefer you can lie down. And then I want you to do two things. I want you to take your right arm, this is my left but your right, and wrap it around the lower part of the rib cage. Notice that I'm hugging myself, so not the belly, here's my navel, I've gone above and I've wrapped my arms around that lower part of the rib cage and I'm hugging in slightly. Then I'm going to take the other hand and I'm going to rest it here on the breastbone, the sternum. Then close down your eyes, relax the shoulders, and then just breathe. Now as you practice here, try not to alter the breath too much. I'm sure many of you have been told the right way to breathe and where you should feel the breath the most, but this is about awareness, not perfection. So relax, let the body breathe naturally, and notice one, the rhythm that you feel, and then again where you feel the breath the most dominant. Okay, if you have closed your eyes, you can blink your eyes open and then take your hands away from the body. So here's what it tells us. If you felt more sensation in and around that lower rib cage area where your forearm and hands was raised, then it's a good indication that the most prominent and most important muscle for breathing, your diaphragm, is doing its job. It's moving, it's descending, and it's beginning to lift back into the rib cage. Now this is the foundation for calm and efficient breathing, and it signals more of a rest and digest, more of a focused and relaxed state, which means it's linked with greater focus, emotional steadiness, and even things like improved digestion. Now, if you felt the breath more in the upper chest, in this sternum area, even around here the collarbones, this is often dubbed as clavicular breath. And the breath here is often driven by the accessory muscles of the upper chest. The neck muscles, this muscle here, the sternocleidomastoid, and the scalenes muscle. Now this kind of breathing is often seen as a stress response. So it is definitely appropriate if you're exercising or doing something very physical. The heart rate quickens, the shoulders tighten, and your focus narrows. You go into that fight or flight response. So again, it's useful, particularly in the realms of survival or physical activity. But if you're breathing like this when you're meant to just be in a relaxed state, not useful at all. And what's happening is you're signaling to your nervous system that you're in a threatening position. This is where we get lots of our stress and our anxiety and a great deal of our fatigue from. Breathing in this zone throughout the day when we're not really meant to be just overwhelms the entire system. And importantly, and more worryingly, does it unconsciously. Here's why it really matters. Where you feel the breath isn't just anatomy, it's nervous system. It's giving you feedback. The side body, the 3D breathing using the diaphragm, is signaling that you're calmer, you're steadier, and your energy is more sustainable. Chest, clavicular breath is signaling that you're tense, maybe potentially anxious. Now by noticing these patterns, you gain awareness of your current state or even your default state, what you keep reverting back to when you're not conscious. And awareness is the first step to change. Now here's a great practice that you can implement this week. Do this assessment at different times of day. See how you're breathing in the morning, at midday and in the evening. Notice how your breathing location shifts with your mood, with your energy, with your environment, with the company that you keep. Over time, the aim is not to judge how you're breathing, but it's to cultivate a greater ability to shift from the shallow, tense upper chest breathing towards the calming, slower, diaphragmatic breathing, and importantly, when you need it the most. So now let's close with today's lesson. And this for me is the most fundamental technique that I can teach you on this course. And that's how to use the diaphragm muscle better. Later on in the course, we're really going to dig into that muscle. We're going to look at its position, its anatomical value, and even its role. But for now, just know that it's linked to better oxygen exchange, what we said before, a calm, alert state, and importantly, helps us gain resilience under emotional stress. Now, unfortunately, this technique isn't always taught particularly well. And when I first learnt this technique, I was told that breathing into the belly is diaphragmatic breathing, and that isn't necessarily true. Your diaphragm is, as you can see in the video now, it's located to the inside of your ribs. It's a dome-shaped muscle that is very thick on one side. When it contracts, it pulls down and it flattens out, and that shifts the air pressure in the lungs and encourages air to pull into the lungs and inflate them. When it relaxes, it returns to its dome shape, the air pressure in the body changes, and the air can leave the body. So if we're working with this properly, we want to feel movement around the diaphragm. And that's here in that lower ribcage area where I had you rest your forearm and your hand before. It's not down here in the belly. So the issue becomes that if we're taught to focus on belly breathing and moving the navel in and out, we become so focused on this region of the body, we actually lose all sensation and capability to work with the diaphragm. And I have seen many a student in class and many teachers in class learn to practice this breathing technique by moving their belly in and out, and this ribcage area is fixed and really still. And more to that, another teaching that I had early on in my studentship was, don't breathe into the chest, keep the body really still, and just breathe into the stomach. And if you breathe up here, that means you're tense and anxious, and that is not the right way to breathe. And again, that isn't a great teaching. We don't want to ever be like this with the body and creating unnecessary tension and angst. The body is relaxed. You will still feel movement in your chest because your lungs are here. The collarbones will still rise, the chest and rib cage and the costal muscles will open up, but the predominant movement that you will feel will be here in the diaphragm. And when you breathe in this way, really, it's a 3D movement. Your body opens up in all directions as you inhale, and then it moves inwardly from all directions as you exhale. So for today's practice, let's tune into the mechanics and importantly gain the awareness of the sensation. This is what I'd like you to do. First thing, we're going to try to rub around that area because we're going to build up more awareness and more sensation there. So find the belly, where we're often told to breathe into. So I can feel the flesh of my stomach here. I follow it out, still feel the flesh, and then I work my way up, and just around now, I can start to notice the first couple of bones of my ribs. That's where we're trying to create the movement. What I'm going to do, and what I want you to do, is rub around it. So rub around that area. So rub all around that lower rib cage, right here into that fleshy part just below the breastbone, the sternum, and rub round and rub round and rub round and rub round. So my mind goes, that's the area. Focus there. So I'm going to keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. Wonderful. And then I'm going to do this. I'm going to have my palms like so. I'm going to draw the shoulder blades together to open up the chest, and as best you can, take your hands out to the side of your body, not to the front. To whatever degree your flexibility allows, take your hands out to the side and then keep them there. I'm going to move mine away, but keep yours there, and then do this. Press in. Your rib cage bones are super elastic, but don't be overly aggressive. But do press in enough so you can feel the sensation of the breath. So press in. Then try your best to keep the lips sealed, and as long as you're not overly congested in the nose, inhale into your hands so that when you inhale, it feels as though your hands are doing this, and they are. The rib cage expands, the diaphragm moves down, and it pushes your hand apart. As you exhale and the air leaves the body, the hands follow the rib cage in. So in effect, your inhale does this, and your exhale does this. Now let's do it together with the gaze lowered, or if you feel comfortable, close your eyes so you can really tune in and create that better feedback and better sensation. So let's find it again together. Come down to the belly, navel, come out to the side, still with the flesh. I come up, okay, bottom 2 or 3 ribs, my diaphragm sits inside of that. Hands go out to the side with a good degree of firmness, I press in. I'm going to seal the lips, close down my eyes, And then I'm going to breathe slowly but purposely into the hands. And then slowly and purposefully out of the hands. Now let's do this several times. And as you continue to do it, also retain the pressure of the hands pressing in. That's going to build up this biofeedback. And it's going to help develop the skill. Okay, now see if you can keep the eyes closed. Lower your hands either down by your side or rest them onto your lap. And let's continue the practice, but now without the assistance of the hands. Can you still feel the breath in this same region? Then finally, as you continue to do this, as you inhale, relax the stomach, and you will also feel the abdomen swell. And as you exhale, stomach's relaxed, and you'll feel some of that swelling just ease. Okay, blink your eyes open. Let's touch on a final few ideas. So, belly breathing isn't necessarily diaphragmatic breathing. And you can hold here and move your belly in and out, and the hands barely move. However, if we focus on this region and we feel the ribcage expand, pretty good indicator we're using the diaphragm better. And if then you can coordinate movement of the belly, which will happen naturally, absolutely fantastic. But for the practice and from here on in, let the focus be here. Shoulders are relaxed, not pulled down, not pulled back. They're relaxed. The chest will still lift and lower because the lungs are about to inflate, as will the collarbones. But you are tuning in to that movement in that diaphragm area. As you do this, the mind will become more centered, more focused. Your energy will stabilize and become calmer, and actually not sleepier, relaxed, peaceful, relaxed, poised, ready, much greater clarity of thought, and importantly for me, better relationship with whatever's going on in the world. If I'm in a difficult moment of my life, it's going to give me that clarity of mind to understand that the difficult moment will pass. And if I'm in a really beautiful moment of my life with my family and my children, the people I love the most, I'm in that moment. I'm with them because again, I've got that greater clarity of mind. Magic, magic stuff. Thank you for listening today. Hope you enjoyed the video and enjoyed today's practice.